There's some reforms that require parliamentary approval. There's some reforms that require just executive decisions, and there's some reforms that are to do with governance. I think the government has moved along all those lines. In the last few months, they've been more active than before. And some low-hanging fruit we will in fact see very soon. As people say, India, there's so much low-hanging fruit that a tree has fallen to the ground. Take, for example, the power generation sector. A lot of installed capacity in electricity, but that's not generated power because of not having coal linkage. So now if you establish the coal linkage, you will pretty much have a lot of generation capacity up and going. The price of oil makes a very big impact on India's macroeconomic management. India imports 80% of its oil requirement. We are the third or the fourth largest oil importer in the world. The price of oil affects our fiscal deficit, our current account deficit, it affects our inflation, it affects our growth. So how we make use of this windfall gain in the sharp drop in oil price is very, very important. The government has moved, they've reduced subsidy. I think they've desubsidized petrol, diesel, but there's still subsidy on kerosene, there's still subsidy on LPG, the cooking gas. The important thing, I believe, is to streamline the subsidies. Some amount of subsidy is important, but make sure that that's targeted and going to the right people. So people today are talking about cash transfers rather than product-based subsidies. There are some nice things going for India, like a stable political system, stable markets, drop in oil price that we talked about. But those are necessary but not sufficient to deliver on the India growth story. We've got to do a lot of things to increase investment, increase the quantum of investment, increase the productivity of investment, improve the skill levels in the country, improve health and education outcomes. So the necessary condition is there, but we've got to do a lot of things to fulfill the sufficiency conditions for growth acceleration. You have hundreds of millions of people living in poverty, many of them at subsistence level. At the other end of the spectrum, you have some people who make it to the Forbes wealthiest list. The contrast in wealth and in incomes is very, very large. What the poor people want is, of course, that inequality to be bridged, but they don't want subsidies. They don't want those. They want opportunity. They want opportunity to improve their quality of life for themselves and for their children. And that's what India should be focusing on. The rupee has been stable. The external sector of India has been steady. The rupee, for example, is among the BRICS currencies, is the currency that's depreciated the least against the dollar. India must have a stable currency in order to manage its external sector. We need to make imports, import of production goods, import of capital goods. We need to increase our exports. That depends for business people to make decisions on imports and exports. A stable currency is very helpful to make informed decisions. So I think it's a big deal that the currency is holding out.